Bryan, man, welcome back. What happened? Can you explain what you went through?
Yeah, I ruptured 2 arteries in my abdomen. I guess my omentum is where the arteries were. It's a protective layer over your intestines and your stomach and everything like that. I guess they call it I was just looking it up because I had to ask my wife. I didn't know the technical stuff, but it's like the policeman of your body or whatever, protecting everything, all your internal arteries and everything like that. So I ruptured 2 arteries in there. It's a miracle that I'm here, honestly. It's a miracle. They said 2 minutes longer and I was a goner, so.
Wow. Were you doing something when this happened, or was?
Yeah, I was training for the Daniel Rodriguez fight, and actually was the Friday, the last training day before I head to Vegas, and I was doing my sparring rounds. Got kicked in the first practice round, and it wasn't crazy hard or anything like that. Just kept going and finished my rounds, did great, hung out for a while, talked to the guys, and then it was time for me to head home, which is about a 4.5-hour drive. And was driving, and was starting to have some stomach pain, and was telling my wife, because I was talking to her on the phone, and she's like, well, I'll come get you if you want to just pull over, so that way you don't have to worry about it. I was like, oh no, I'll make it, I'll be fine, and I'll rest up and be good to fight next week. And then I was driving, and all of a sudden it's like I started tingling everywhere from my head to my toes, and then sweating like crazy, like I just got done with a session. And all of a sudden my vision went out, and I was on the highway, and I was like, I'm telling her, like, oh my gosh, my vision went, I can't see. And she's like, oh my gosh, you need to pull over. So all I can think was like, okay, just swerve to the side and try to get to the side, feel my tires dip. And that's when I hit the side, the side of the road to stop. So I did. Thankfully there was no cars in the way or anything, cause any more destruction or anything like that. So got to the side, and she's like, call the ambulance. I was like, I can't see. And so she's got hung up, was trying to call, and it just didn't work out. It just, everything, they kept transferring her and everything. Luckily, my vision came back. I called the ambulance, pulled off the highway into a parking lot, and happened to be a church parking lot. And, the ambulance came and got me, and my wife had to talk me into getting to the ambulance, because I was like, well, how far is it? I'll just drive. I don't want to worry about the cost of an ambulance ride or anything like that. It was stupid. Stupid at the time, yeah. And she yelled at me, got in the ambulance, they took me over there. I was in fight mode. I was 100% in fight mode, ready to go into that fight, And I guess the way I came off in the ambulance wasn't convincing enough for them to take me straight into the ER, because they wheeled me out of the ambulance and took me all the way to the front registration desk, took me out of the gurney and put me in a wheelchair, and said, oh yeah, we're going to get you checked in. I was like, well, I think I need to go in a room right away. And they're like, nah, we're going to get you checked in, and they're pretty busy right now. Well, I started to have another, symptoms while I was sitting in the wheelchair, started falling out, felt like I was going to pass out. And, all I can get out was just like, help me, please, something's wrong, help me. And luckily, the nurse was right there with me, and she was like, oh my gosh, he doesn't look good. And the other nurse looked in and was like, rush him to the back. So they took me back right away, and the doctor came right up to me and was like, what happened? And I was like, I got kicked in the stomach, I think I ruptured something. Threw me on the table, cut my shirt, ultrasound right away, call a trauma code, we're going to an emergency surgery. I was like, you need to call my wife. She's on, she's driving here, she doesn't know where I'm at. Like, we'll call her as soon as you go in. I was like, no, you need to call her now, as they're wheeling me off. So he called her right in front of me, thankfully, told her where we're at, and, I went right into emergency surgery. I had, almost 4 liters of blood in my stomach. They had to pump out, I had to get a blood transfusion. They were able to pump some of my blood out and cycle it or whatever and put it back in, but I ended up having to get 3 liters of infusion of blood done, and then whatever they got left of mine. So yeah, it's crazy, man. My wife got there, and it's just wild. They called, she's like, they called me halfway, I'm on my way, and they're like, get here as fast as you can. And so it was a close call, definitely a miracle. And there's a lot to the story, and honestly, a lot lines up, God, man. I'm blessed. It's a miracle. God and angels definitely watching out for me, man. A lot lined up for it to be perfectly at that time to go to that hospital. It's an emergency trauma hospital. I would have been life flighted. I was, minutes away from passing. That was the last exit in Asheville. Passing that and being in the mountains where I don't really get any service or anything. So it's a miracle that I'm here. It's a miracle that I'm able to fight again. They were telling me, no, you won't be able to fight anymore. We don't know what's going to happen, what can happen to you. It's going to really be, you could try and see what happens and if you can do it, but we don't recommend it. So it's just like, well, if it's, if I can try, I'm going to try. I can't just stop and not try because that'll eat at me. So it's a long debate, long talks with my family, my wife, my kids, definitely. And it's just excited to be here again.
It's unbelievable, man. So I guess just the physical recovery process, was it a process to get back to fighting condition?
Yeah, it was actually really weird because it's like they could give me no real timelines or real things to do. It was just kind of like, okay, for the first 12 weeks, try not to do more than walking. That's it. And then after that, you can kind of start testing things out, doing a little bit more. And so it was just, I was still coming off the fight, going into that fight and everything. I had it in my head already. I'm coming back. I'm going to fight again. So I didn't let myself blow up like I did when I had back surgery. I got 240. That was, crazy. So, this, I was like I was like, okay, I'm going to walk as much as I can, as much as my body will let me. And then when it comes time, I'll start picking it up slow. Ended up picking it up too quickly and suffered an internal tear, and it set me back, so I had to rest, and it would heal by itself, not have to have surgery or anything like that again, but set me back, and just ended up stepping back, talking with my coach, and we came up with a game plan of things what we're going to do, the pace we're going to do it, and that we would start and see where we get, and then as we go, we just keep a steady pace all the way up until I get cleared, and then from there, we'll continue to keep a steady pace up until whatever fight is. And so that's what we did. Little by little, started with walks, started with keeping my heart rate below 150, which is a lot harder than it seems. Go on a run, keep your heart rate below 150. I'm having to stop like a couple steps in, like, what's going on here? Let me just walk for a little bit or stand still. So we did some different things conditioning-wise. We did some things prep-wise that really, ultimately, I think were better. Like, I feel better than I ever have. We were able to work a lot of skill things, a lot of conditioning things differently to build different areas of my conditioning, different areas of my skills. So I feel more well-rounded. I feel super sharp, and I feel ready to go and better than I have before.
Considering all you've been through, I mean, I guess is this kind of an emotional week for you to be back here and prepping, a fight week again?
Yeah, it absolutely is. Keeping it under control and keeping it under wraps. It's been an emotional ride. It's been a long camp. Like I said, I travel for my camps. I'm away from my family, so that's even 10 times harder this time around because of the situation. The risk of, hey, tomorrow's not promised. The next couple hours aren't promised. This fight isn't promised. Something could happen. I can tomorrow not wake up. Whatever. Nothing's promised. So definitely living in the moment more. So being here again, I mean, at the end of fight camp, it was out alone. And it was crazy because at the end of the fight camp, I reached in my bag, gonna head home, everything. Had a great session, everything. Reached in my bag, going home, pulled my clothes out, went to shower, realized that when I changed, it's the exact same clothes that I wore that same day. Same shirt, same everything, because I had the same shirt, and the one they cut off me, something in the trash somewhere, but yeah, it's the same style shirt, everything. The shorts happen to be the same shorts. I mean, I'm like, what in the hell is going on here? Like, I'm a little worried, but I don't believe in like, oh, this is bad luck if I wear this. We're going to work through it. We're going to get through it. So, yeah, rock that shirt and clothes all the way home. And it was good, man. It was a great weekend with my family. And here's fight week, man. It's been a long time coming. And I'm super excited to be here. It's definitely, it's been a ride.
That's awesome, man. On a much lighter note, you went with the multicolor fingernails this week. Was that the theme?
Yeah. Oh, my daughter, man. She picks the colors and everything. Got a little glitter on the pinky, some colors on U.S., Colombia also. So, a mix of everything here. She does it all.
I dig it. Last thing for me, I guess, the battle that you got through to come back. I mean, what's the goal when you go in there? I mean, like you said, you got to live in the here and now. So does this change the way you approach your fighting career as well? I mean, like, you're not thinking about like rankings or whatever. I mean, does this change like what you're wanting out of a fight or what you're wanting out of your career?
I haven't thought about rankings in a while now. For me, I don't know. Anything could happen. People are moving up the rankings, out of nowhere. So I'm not really worried about rankings, not worried about fighting people in rankings, whatever. If it happens, it happens, great. If they have a number by their name, great. If they don't, like the guy I'm fighting, great. I'm going to fight. I enjoy this. If I didn't love this, I wouldn't be here. And especially that was a big thing, you know, talking with my family. It's like, you know, dude, is it worth it? You know, I felt bad wanting to come back. I felt bad wanting to continue to fight. My family is the most important thing to me. If they don't want me to fight, then I shouldn't fight, you know. They're what they matter most, and their time being with them is what matters most. This is just, you know, whatever. It's something I love to do for sure, but it's not that important. I can make money doing other things where I'm with them all the time, figure something out. But fighting makes it able for me to be with them a lot of the time. So, and I really love it. And so the fact that I love it, talking with them and everything, and this is the way I support my family, man, I'm happy to be here and continue to do it. And it doesn't really change how I look at the fight. I'm just going to go in there and live in the moment. I love this. It's fun. I'm going to go in there and have some fun on Saturday.
Hey, Bryan.
How's it going?
So you were just talking about your family. I mean, did your family give you the go-ahead to continue to fight?
Yeah, they did. Took a little more from my kids for sure. You know, they were pretty shook about the whole thing and the fact that it happened in training. You know, preparing for a fight. You know, they're scared. You know, and at a time, you know, I thought maybe, well, shoot, maybe I need to be scared about it too. You know, I just never thought it would happen like this or anything. So I almost just died. And you know, they're the most important thing. So it's just, yeah. Ultimately, it was sitting down, talking with my wife, talking with my kids, kind of reassuring them, you know, like, you know, this is not only is fighting, you know, my job and what I love, but like I said, it allows me to be with them more than most other jobs. You know, a lot of other jobs, I'm not able to be home for between fight camps and be home all the time and be able to, you know, be with them throughout that whole time. You know, normally I'd be working, you know, 9 to 5 or whatever. So there's definitely, you know, perks to being able to be home with them and everything like that. So if I can continue doing what I enjoy and what I love and being able to still do, you know, the time with them and give them all the focus when I'm not fighting, you know, I want to continue to do that and be able to provide for them. And, you know, I think they understood after, you know, we kind of broke it down and explained it for them. And I think they're still scared. I think Saturday, you know, they will be scared. And, you know, I'm looking forward to going in there and showing them that I'm going to be okay.
Back surgery, ruptured arteries. I mean, you're in the hurt business, but are you trying to like stay out of the hospital after this fight?
Yeah, honestly, I'd like to, you know, go in there and make it quick and not take too much damage would be ultimately ideal. But that never seems to really happen with my fights. So, you know, it is what it is. I enjoy it. It's fun for me. So if it turns out to be one of those fights, you'd better believe I'm going to be in there having fun with it.
Speaking of that, I mean, you're opening up the main card on ESPN. They put you there for a reason, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think if you watch fighting, if you know fighting, you know that I bring it every time and I put on exciting fights, always going for the finish, and definitely start up the main card. I think it's to get everybody amped up and ready for the main event and everything else.
Do you have a prediction?
You know, I just truly believe I'm going to go in there and finish him. I'm going to put him away. He's a tough opponent. He's well-rounded. Comes from a great camp. So it should be a fun one. And definitely, if he's going to have to bring it.
And finally, last Marie, I saw you took a picture with Danny Chavez, and you both are Colombian. I guess just, you know, how did that feel?
Yeah, it felt great. You know, we've talked a little bit over social media and stuff like that, so it was great to finally meet him in person and kind of feel that bond. You know, you get that extra energy when you feel that from each other, kind of here representing Colombia, representing the U.S. at the same time, Colombian American, and you know, we feel that. You know, we're both warriors, and man, I'm excited to be on a car with him, and it brings a little extra something special.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome back, bud, and
Thank you.
thank you for taking the time. With all the ups and downs, the back and forth, the roller coaster, at what point were you able to, like that key moment that said, life or death, I'm an MMA fighter, and you knew you were going to come back here no matter what?
It was kind of just like, well, right after surgery, honestly. You know, that was the plan right away. It was like, I'm coming back. You know, this isn't going to hold me down. I'm going to be back fighting again. You know, obviously there would be tests and trials and, you know, setbacks. But I just, you know, not only for me, I wanted to show my kids that, you know, when something happens, you know, if there's a chance, take the chance. Why not? You know, see what can happen, see how far you can get. If there's a chance, take the chance, go for it, take the leap. You know, so I'm constantly out here, man. I'm pushing, and I'm like I said, I'm feeling better than ever. This is a special fight. This is a big fight for me. You know, maybe, you know, people look at it and the opponent's not, you know, a ranked guy or, you know, most notable, he's more newer. He's still tough. He's still well-rounded. He's in the UFC for a reason, you know, and he's here, and maybe his record's not the best. That doesn't mean he can't bounce back and go on a streak or something. Anybody can. Things happen. So, you know what? He's a dangerous opponent, and I'm taking him as that. And, yeah, this is like probably the biggest fight of my career at the moment. And I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to enjoy every second of it.
Excellent. And you know what Jason mentioned to us earlier, that he is, to summarize, the best version of himself because he's getting better sleep, so on and so forth, physically. So you're getting the best opponent you could. You guys are both like 2.0 of your each
Great. Great. I want nothing less. I want nothing less than that. I want him to be at his best. I want to beat him with the best he's ever felt. And I guess my coach brought this up earlier. It's technically 3.0 since I came back from back surgery as well. But
Excellent.
not to correct you or anything. I didn't know either.
And lastly, how great was it to get that reassurance, that affirmation, that the confirmation from your friends and family that they're behind you and that they're going to continue to be with you this entire ride?
Yeah, you know, the biggest thing is my wife and my kids. You know, I had to have them behind me, and you know, my wife has always been super supportive. We've been together since high school. You know, our anniversary's next weekend. Going on 10 years married, 14 years together. You know, and then so, you know, for her to still, you know, be by my side and telling me like, yeah, I believe you can come back. You know, you can come back. If anybody can do it, you definitely can. So, you know, go for it. And so, yeah, man, that's the most important thing is what my wife says and what my kids, you know, that they're, you know, okay with it. Definitely the support of my friends, my family, my teams. I mean, I've had people tell me like, hey, you know, don't do it. You know, don't come back. Don't, you know, stop fighting. You know, it's not worth the risk. It's not worth it. You don't know what can happen. You know, even though you're feeling good now, anything can happen. Well, anything can happen any day. I mean, I can walk outside right now and, you know, God forbid, you know, something happened, you know, that's it. You know, what happened to me can happen, you know, and I didn't make it to the hospital, or I didn't make it. I'm not here today. So I'm not going to live my life like, you know, something can happen to me at any second and worry about it, because it can. It honestly can. We're not promised any second of our lives. So, and that was definitely more of an eye-opener for me, you know, it's kind of just going and, but didn't really set me back on it, you know, didn't let me rethink my life as far as like, well, maybe I need to be more careful. Just kind of opened my eyes and maybe I need to live more, you know, do more.
All right. Thank you, sir. Congrats on the anniversary, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you very much.